Hello and welcome to another reaction video. My name is Nate and thank you for being here. So, as most of you know already, we are planning our move back to Germany. As a matter of fact, we've been decluttering everything in the house, getting things off the walls, going through games and books and electronics and cleaning up the office and all of that. And I thought maybe it would be fun to react to a video on the German language and why German sounds so aggressive. I'm curious to know. Yes, sometimes German does sound aggressive. Other times I feel like it's very poetic. I've been in a Chinese restaurant where they didn't speak English, and if you want to be around people who sound like they're yelling at everybody all the time, Chinese is pretty aggressive as well. So let's just check out the video on why German sounds so aggressive.
We are German, and as such, we are always self-conscious about getting angry in public. Our language is quite the troll.
I can do an evil old Hausfrau. Ess dein Schnitzel, sonst kriegst du keinen Nachtisch.
Deutschland ist ein Land ut Stodluten.
Na ja, lass die Hunde hocken. Niemand wegen Schritt. Glaubst du, dass die Deutsche keinen Humor hat, ha?
German sounds harsh and aggressive.
Guten Tag! Ich will ein kleinen Boten haben, bitte schön! Das schwarze Boten mit dem Käse und das Schinken, bitte schön!
It's a disgusting language. Nobody should ever speak it. It sounds like typewriters eating tinfoil being kicked down the stairs. And somebody is talking to you in German, they're saying, and you think, what is happening to you from behind? How can we make it stop?
Someone, somewhere, is always making fun of our language. But why does German sound so aggressive to the rest of the world?
To be fair, I think you can make any language sound aggressive if you just put that emphasis and growl into the language. And I know German being very stereotypical with that, with obviously the cartoon there looking like a certain someone that we all know, but yeah, I don't know. It's very a big stereotype.
The German language is part of the Germanic branch of the Indo-Germanic language family. Besides German, Dutch and English are also Germanic languages. But while English sounds gentle to many people, German is often described as spat, barked, ugly, dry, cold, harsh, yapping, and military. German is rarely perceived as beautiful. There are several reasons for this.
1. Linguistic characteristics.
German has a lot of gutturals and glottal stops. They can make the language sound harsh. Let's start with guttural sounds. German has the special ach sound, which sounds very throaty. It can be heard in the German words fauchen, which means to hiss, or krach, which means noise. These words are often difficult for non-German speakers to pronounce because these sounds don't exist in widespread languages like English.
Fauchen, krach. Did I do pretty close? Fauchen. Yeah, you get that guttural sound in the back of your throat. It feels like you're trying to cough something up a lot. So yeah, I see that.
Next, glottal stops. Germans pronounce vowels very strongly, especially when they appear at the beginning of a word. This causes the vocal cords to open suddenly and all the air that has built up to escape at once. Take the word apple. The German word
Apfel.
is Apfel. You can hear it quite well throughout this example. Ich esse oft Äpfel und anderes Obst. In many other languages, the words of a sentence are spoken in a flow. In German, sometimes there's a mini pause before each individual word. Here you can hear the difference. Everything is alright. Alles ist in Ordnung. Of course, I'm overdoing it a bit here, but you get the idea. These breaks can make German sound a bit barked. Some sounds
Okay.
exist in almost all languages, such as M and B. Others are quite unique and only appear in a few languages. In English, there's the digraph th, for example in thanks. Germans, including me, often struggle to pronounce that. Italian, which is often considered to
The TH, so my name is Nathan, and it was very difficult for Germans when I was over there to pronounce my name correctly because of that TH sound. Thankfully, I normally go by Nate, which is very easy to say and a lot easier for foreign language speakers to say, because not just German, but a lot of languages that TH sound. My soccer coach in high school, I think he was Armenian, he could not say Nathan at all. It was pronounced like an S, Nathan, or something similar. So yeah, the TH really gets a lot of people.
be a beautiful, melodious language, uses mainly vowels and only a few exotic sounds. German, on the other hand, has many rare, complex sounds, which might come off as strange. We use so-called Umlaute, such as ä, ö, and ü. Again, often hard to pronounce.
The O umlaut, can't do it. My wife laughs at me every single time. She asks me to say a word, and I'll say it, and to me, it sounds like I'm repeating exactly what she says, and it's not close. Like Cologne in English, Köln in German, Köln. I was told that it's pronounced kind of like kernel, that but not so much of the R, kernel. I don't know, Köln. Those four letters together are like an impossibility for anybody but German to pronounce properly.
For non-German speakers. And there's the SZ. It looks like this and is essential for our all-time favorite word, Scheiße. The SZ is used to indicate the
Scheiße.
hard S sound. Plus, many German words just have a lot of consonants. For example, Strumpf, or a classic selbstverständlich, which means of course. German is complicated, and as humans we often shy away from complexity. But isn't the real challenge to transform complexity into something enjoyable and intriguing? That's kind of the ethos of this channel and also the essence of today's sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant offers interactive games, puzzles, and a bunch of resources to teach you about
2 infinite words.
This is a not made up, absolutely real German word with 79 letters. Rinderkennzeichnungs-Fleischetiketierungs-Überwachungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz. We will not bother you with what it means here. What we're trying to tell you is this. German has a high number of compound words. These can be really cool because the word often literally describes what it means. For example, you have a house and a Tier, an animal, and together it is a house tier, a pet. Though
Funny, my wife and I were just talking about that earlier today because I don't know how it started actually, but then I said, yeah, you have words that actually describe exactly what it is. Like a stink animal, skunk. I can't think of what it is in German now. Or a turtle is like a shield frog. I mean, it's hilarious in some aspects, but makes perfect sense. One of my favorite words of all time is Staubsauger, dust sucker, vacuum. You know exactly what it is by sucking dust. That's what it does. That's what it is.
as a people, we seem to have made it our goal to put together as many words as possible. This has led to many long and insanely complex creations. Mark Twain already made fun of this word and many others in 1880 in his famous essay, The Awful German Language. He writes, "These things are not words, they are alphabetical processions, and the inventor of them ought to have been killed." And because the words are weird, a lot of non-German speakers find them very entertaining. They have something weirdly over-precise and orderly about them. Combined with their guttural and glottal stop consonant-loaded delivery, it can give them a military touch. Ironically, we have a word for this: Konsonantenschlacht. Every German-speaking actor or model has to do the German word quiz on an American talk show at least once.
Bezirksschornsteinfegermeister.
Schmetterlingsbeinschlag.
Schmetterling.
Albeit this last one being an absolute banger of a word, meaning a face that's just inviting a good slap like Jimmy Fallon's, these shows only strengthen the image of the difficult and weird German language. And this leads us to
3. Prejudices.
What do people think of when they think of Germany?
And they're saying to you something like, we have been better, but we're very vibrant in the theater and arts and so on. All the time you listen to this, you're thinking, Hitler.
During the two world wars, the German naturally became the enemy in many countries. German-American relations changed drastically. In the US, the teaching of German was banned. German programs were no longer allowed to be played on the radio. Authorities called for a boycott of German goods. Streets and even sauerkraut were renamed. Hitler is possibly history's most terrifying figure. Germany's history, once so gruesome, it is rightly so echoed, processed and analyzed countless times in all forms of media, so it may never be forgotten. According to many linguists, the perception of the German language is in part the result of these historical and socio-cultural contexts. German might have an image problem. Linguists would point out that you shouldn't judge a language based on its sound. What sounds strange to one person is beautiful to another. And if you label a language as ugly, you might miss out on fascinating insights into other worlds of thought and sound. So lastly, let us introduce you to some beautiful German words you can pretentiously incorporate into your Sprachgebrauch. Fernweh describes the opposite of homesickness, the longing for distant places. Weltschmerz is a feeling of knowing that the world will always fail to meet your expectations because of the prevalence of pain existing throughout it. And lastly, Treppenwitz, a joke or thought that you think of too late, just as you walked out the door, already on the stairs. Like, I'm sure there's a nice way to finish the video here, but I guess it just won't come to me until we hit publish.
Well, that was entertaining. I enjoyed that. And being somebody who is attempting to learn the German language, it does feel a bit overwhelming at times. It does feel intimidating at times. I feel like it's a lot of tongue twisters. There's a lot of sounds that back to back that it's hard to get the letters or the syllables out when it's a lot of sh and in the back of your throat. And I know I'm probably overthinking it, and the longer I learn and speak, the easier it will become, obviously. But just the thought of, listening to my wife and her family talk, I'm like, good grief, I'm never gonna get to that point. I'm never gonna get where I'm just free-flowing the German language. Obviously, that's not true if I stay with it, and the longer I speak it, and when we move over there and I'm surrounded by it and I'm listening to it all the time, it will come to me. But it can sound very harsh, and at times, I've started listening to German podcasts in the car on the way to work. It's very difficult for me not to just put in my music, because I love to listen to music, but I'm forcing myself to listen to German podcasts, even if I don't understand 99% of what they're saying. Just listening to it, just listening to the syllables, to the accents, where you put emphasis in a sentence, and after a while, it's very melodic at times. It's very soothing at times, where I can just zone out and I'm listening to it, and it's not. They aren't screaming, they aren't yelling, and unfortunately, Germany had a leader back in the day that kind of has overshadowed everything else about not only the language, but culture and the people and whatever. And it's very unfortunate and it's not fair. But if we can all listen to other German and try and get that prejudice mindset out, you know, and think of it as just another language like Italian or Spanish, Latin, or any of those other romantic languages. I think it's very similar. I think it is. It's fun to make fun of sometimes. You know, it's kind of funny when videos and it's English saying it all beautiful and then the German just like spits it out and yells. It's kind of funny, but that's not really the way the language is spoken. So let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you find it a very harsh language, or do you see it as more of a melodic, you know, language? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If this is your first time here, please think about subscribing. It really does help me out. I do a weekly reaction video based on a whole number of things. I hope you had a wonderful new year. We are in 2025, and hopefully within a few months, I will be shooting videos from the other side of the world. But until then, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.